George Whitefield's religious advertising and promotion in colonial America newspapers provided the spark for the Great Awakening to occur in the American colonies. A full 6 months before Whitefield's arrival in the colonies, Benjamin Franklin began touting the reputation of the itinerant preacher from England, which piqued the interest of colonial Christians. Upon Whitefield's arrival, the network of colonial newspapers, best evidenced by Whitefield's partnership with Franklin's Pennsylvania Gazette and the close friendship the two developed over the course of his stay, was a crucial ingredient for the expansion of the Great Awakening movement in the colonies. Lambert, 1993. The strategy of utilizing newspapers to publish advertisements for future sermons, sermons themselves, and descriptions of crowd size and sermon content allowed Whitefield to make sermons, once a drug, a vendible commodity. Lambert, 1990. This new take on preaching, one that established creative tension between commerce and religion, and allowed Whitefield's manager Seward and Franklin to sell Whitefield as news and then a commodity, enabled Whitefield to stoke the flames of the Great Awakening. Lambert, 1990 and 1993. The importance of using the newspaper as the medium of sermon publication was that it made Whitefield and his sermons much more accessible. No longer did colonial Christians have to attend rigid church services to hear the gospel. Instead, Whitefield promoted outdoor services, and by publishing his sermons in the news, created a following that enabled his message to spread far and wide, even when he was not heard in person. Lambert, 1990, 91, and 93. The creation of a following through the use of the press is best evidenced by a group of Christians who resided in Hanover, Virginia, and were eager to hear Whitefield preach. Although Whitefield was unable to preach in Hanover, the group unable to attend his Williamsburg, Virginia sermon, the group was able to follow his sermon due to its publication in a local newspaper. This group, while one of many who listened to Whitefield through newspapers, eventually founded the First Presbyterian Church in Virginia, which served to prove the existence of a religious revival that was sweeping the colonies due to Whitefield and his use of the press. Lambert, 1990. Whitefield's use of the press, foundational in its own right, also exemplified the connection of commercialism and religion. Whitefield did not blindly publish sermons in newspapers. He published his sermons according to serialization, which kept prices low and allowed readers to easily follow his sermons, which in turn created anticipation and increased demand. Lambert, 1990. The monetary aspect of Whitefield's success was perhaps the driving force behind his partnership with Franklin, as it illustrates how the impersonal market brought together two different people. Lambert, 1993. This commercialization of Whitefield in the press increased crowds at his sermon, which in turn increased demands for his overall product, a religion that condemned commerce, but one that was promoted through commerce in the form of newspapers. Thus, Whitefield's control and use of colonial newspapers to spread his religious message, combined with his knowledge of the market economy and how to harness its powers to sell his product, enabled the Great Awakening to flourish in the colonies because, as Lambert states in The Great Awakening as Artifact, Whitefield had redefined popular religion, fashioning something public and national which was once private and local.